Class 9th. So today we will again begin chapter number 1. Few topics are remaining. So last time whatever we studied, let's revise again. Then we will start the topic. Okay. So last time we studied boiling, melting, latent heat of vaporization, latent heat of fusion. Let's begin. So melting. What is melting? When a solid heated, it changes into liquid form at a particular temperature. It is called melting. And what is latent heat of fusion? Means hidden heat of fusion, hidden heat of melting. So the amount of heat energy required to change, the amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram solid, the amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure is called latent heat of fusion. And we also studied boiling. What is boiling? When a liquid is heated at particular temperature. Yes, particular temperature is the main requirement. Don't forget the word particular temperature. Okay, when a liquid is heated at particular temperature, then what happens? The particles move very fast and then liquid change into gas. This process is called boiling. Okay, it is a bulk phenomena. And what is latent heat of vaporization? Yes, what is latent heat of vaporization? The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram liquid, the amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram of liquid into gas at atmospheric pressure is called latent heat of vaporization. Okay, understood? Then we also did the experiment related to them. Then we studied about effect of temperature. What is the effect of temperature when when we increase the temperature? Suppose we have any solid, if we increase the temperature of solid, then what will happen? The particles of solid which are near to each other, very closely, tightly packed, they will go away from each other because of temperature. But if we decrease the temperature, then they will come closer. And in case of liquid, if we heat the liquid, then particles will move very fast and they will go away from each other and liquid will change into gas. And we also studied about sublimation. What is sublimation? The change of state directly from solid to gas. Yes, the change of state directly from solid to gas or from gas to solid. It's called sublimation. Example, we know ammonium chloride, camphor, naphthalene. These are the examples. And we also studied what is the effect of pressure. Yes, when pressure is applied on a gas, then the particles of gas come closer and the gas change into liquid. Yes, when pressure is applied on a liquid, the particles of gas come closer and the gas change into liquid. Yes, so we can liquefy gas by applying pressure and reducing the temperature. Yes, we can liquefy gas by applying the pressure and reducing the temperature. Yes, and if I talk about solid carbon dioxide, means dry ice. Solid carbon dioxide means dry ice. If I reduce its pressure, then solid carbon dioxide, it will directly change into gas form. Okay, it will directly change into gas. Understood? Then we studied interconversion. Yes, then last time we studied interconversion. The last topic was interconversion of three state of matter. As you can see on your screen, interconversion of state of matter. So, what is fusion? Can you see the word fusion on the screen? Can you see the word fusion? F-U-S-I-O-N? Yes. The process of changing solid into liquid at particular temperature is called fusion. What is solidification? The process of changing liquid into solid is called solidification. What is condensation? The process of changing gas into liquid is called condensation. Condensation means decreasing the temperature, cool down. Okay. What is sublimation? The process of changing gas into solid, directly changing gas into solid or solid into gas. It's called sublimation. So all these topics we studied. Today we will study about evaporation, their factor, and then we will also study the examples. Then we will study some formulas. Okay. So without wasting time, let's begin. Okay, kids. Now, first topic. Today's first topic is evaporation. Yes. What is evaporation? Suppose I have water in bottle. I have water in bottle, and I put this bottle in sunlight. Yes, I put the bottle in sunlight. Then what will happen? I put the bottle in sunlight for 3 hours, 4 hours. Then what will happen? The water will automatically evaporate without reaching the boiling point. Without reaching the means water is evaporating automatically. Yes. But for boiling, if you boil water, in that condition you need a particular temperature. That particular temperature is called boiling point. But in case of evaporation, every day evaporation occur, the water of seas, ocean change into gaseous form. But no need boiling point. Means below its boiling point. Below its boiling point, water is changing into liquid, is changing into gaseous form. Yes, that is the meaning of evaporation. That is the difference between boiling and evaporation. Yes, for boiling, we need a particular temperature. Evaporation, we need a temperature which is below the boiling point. Okay, any temperature below the boil. So, what is evaporation? Liquid change into gas at any temperature below its boiling point. So, the change of liquid into vapor form या in gaseous form. The change of liquid into gaseous form at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. Yes, the change of liquid into vapor at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. Yes, evaporation is a surface phenomena. Yeah, evaporation is a surface phenomena. What is the meaning of evaporation is a surface phenomenon? The meaning is that the water of surface start to evaporate, means the temperature of surface of water increase. The remaining water still remains same. But in case of boiling, the temperature of whole water increase. Yes. So evaporation is a surface phenomenon. Particles from the surface gain enough energy when particles of liquid get sunlight. So because of it, liquid change into vapor state. Yes. Evaporation is a surface phenomenon. Particles from the surface, particles from the surface gain enough energy to overcome the force of attraction which is applying between the particles in change to vapor state. Okay. So few factors affect on evaporation. Yes, few factors are related to evaporation which affect the evaporation. Few factors affect the evaporation. Yes, few factors affect the evaporation. Let's see these factors which affect the evaporation. Let's see these factors which affect the evaporation. Okay. So there are few factors like temperature, surface area, humidity, wind speed, the affect the evaporation. Yes. Which are the factors? Evaporation, the rate of evaporation depend upon first surface area, temperature, humidity, wind speed. Yes. The rate of evaporation depend upon surface area, temperature, humidity, wind speed. Okay. Factor number 1, increase in the surface area increases the rate of evaporation. Yes, if surface area increase, then rate of evaporation also increase. If surface area increase, then rate of evaporation also increase. Yes. Okay. Next point, increase in temperature increases the rate of evaporation. Yes. If temperature increase, then rate of evaporation also increase. If temperature increase, rate of evaporation also increase. Point number 3, increase in humidity decrease the rate of evaporation. Yes. If humidity increase, evaporation decrease. If humidity increase, rate of evaporation decrease. Next point, increase in wind speed increases the rate of evaporation. Yes. If wind speed increase, then rate of evaporation increase. Yes. Surface area, temperature and wind speed. Surface area, temperature and wind speed. If they increase, then evaporation always increase. But if humidity increase, evaporation always decrease. So these are the factors. Understood? Now let's move on to the next. Okay kids, now look this diagram. As you can see on the screen, a container in which liquid is filled. Yes. So suppose by evaporation liquid is changing into vapor form. Okay, by evaporation liquid is changing into vapor. You know that in the morning the sun doesn't give too much heat energy. So when the heat energy is very low, that time the particles, all the particles of sunlight, all the particles of liquid do not get enough heat energy to move. Yes, so they will not move freely. But like at noon the sun provides so much heat energy, high energy. In case of high energy, the particles of liquid will start moving freely. So the particles of liquid will come out of liquid. Means liquid is changing into gaseous form. So in case of gas, particles can move freely. But if liquid is getting medium energy of sunlight, then they will pulled back into water. Yes, they will not go, all the particles will not go out. Means liquid completely will not change into vapor, it will take so much time. Okay, that is the meaning. Understood? Now let's move on to the next point. So kids, Next topic is evaporation causes cooling. Yes, evaporation causes cooling. Yes, when a liquid evaporates, the particles of liquid absorb heat. Yes, from surrounding and evaporate. Remember, when a liquid evaporates, that time what happens? The particle of liquid absorb heat. The particles of liquid absorb heat to make from surrounding. So the surrounding becomes cool. So we can say that evaporation causes cooling. Yes, evaporation causes cooling. Yes. Sometime people sprinkle water on roof or open ground. Yes, people sprinkle water on roof or open ground during. Then what will happen during evaporation? The water that you sprinkled, it will evaporate. While evaporating, it will absorb heat from surrounding and makes the hot surface of surrounding cool. Yes, and that area will become cool. So people sprinkle water on roof or open ground because during evaporation water absorb heat, makes the hot surface. And during summer we sweat more. Yeah, we sweat more. Why? Because during evaporation sweat absorb the heat from our body. Yes, during summer we sweat more. It means while sweating, the sweat will evaporate, and while evaporating it will absorb heat from surrounding, means it will absorb heat from our body, so we will feel cool, our body will feel cool. It means evaporation causes cooling. Yes, during summer we sweat more because during evaporation the sweat absorb heat from our body, making the body. So whenever a surface is evaporating, it will always absorb the heat from surrounding. Yes, it will always absorb the heat from surrounding. Wearing cotton clothes in summer keep us cool. Wearing cotton clothes in summer keep us cool. Why? Because cotton absorb the sweat. When the sweat evaporate, it absorb heat from our body and making the body cool. Yes. Why should we wear cotton clothes in summer? Because cotton absorb the sweat. When cotton will absorb the sweat, at the same time it absorb heat from our body. It absorb heat from surrounding and making the body. That's why our body becomes cool. Understood? So evaporation causes cooling. When a liquid evaporates, the particles of liquid, particles of liquid absorb the heat from surrounding. Particles of liquid absorb the heat from surrounding. Let's take some more example to understand. Okay kids, can you see the picture of cooler? Yes, cooler. Cooler give us cool air. Yeah, during summer we use it. How? Because of water that we feel in cooler? No, that's not enough. We feel water in water tank, and the water in that water circulate. We use cooler, or you can say desert cooler. We use cooler during summer. So during summer the water evaporates fast. So the water which is filled in water tank, it will start evaporating. I have shown red arrows. Can you see the red arrows? Yes. Red arrows are showing that some heat. Arrows are showing heat. So what will happen? The sunlight, because of sunlight, the water will evaporate. So when water will evaporate, the water will take heat energy. The water will take heat energy from surrounding. Yes, the water will take heat energy from surrounding and makes the surrounding cool. Yeah, that's why we feel cool. We get cool air from surround. Okay, so we can say evaporation causes cooling. Understood? Now let's move on the next point. Okay, kids, do you use perfume? Do you use perfume? Take perfume and spray on your hand or spray on your palm. Then how do you feel? You will feel it cool. Yes. How comes it possible? Just spraying perfume on hand, how comes it possible? How can it make cool our palm? Because when perfume is put on our palm, when you spray perfume on your palm, it feels cold because the particles of matter gain energy, absorb energy. The particles of matter absorb energy from surrounding. Yes. When you spray perfume on palm, then we know that perfume will evaporate. While evaporating, it will absorb heat from the surrounding area of your palm. Yes, it will absorb heat from surrounding area of palm and thus it becomes cool. When perfume is evaporate on our palm, it feels cool, it feels cold because the particles of matter absorb energy, gain energy from surrounding or from our palm, you can say, and evaporate at fast rate, causing our palm to feel cool. Yes, because of it, your palm becomes cool. Yes, because of it, your palm becomes cool. Okay, that is the reason. Okay, now let's see one more example. Okay, as you can see on the screen, picture of earthen pot, matka, earthen pot, EARTHEN, earthen pot, matka. So why does water get cool? Why does water get cool in earthen pot? Why does water get cool in earthen pot? Can you explain? Yeah, the reason behind it is same, evaporation, because evaporation causes cooling. Actually, there are tiny holes on the surface of earthen pot. Yes, there are tiny holes. If you watch earthen pot carefully, then you will find some tiny holes, tiny pores. So because of these tiny holes, evaporation occur, evaporation of water happens. So when evaporation of water happens, then during the evaporation, water will absorb heat energy from surrounding. So because of these tiny holes, water will evaporate, and in that condition, water will absorb the heat from surrounding. So because of it, earthen pot becomes cool, and you will feel that water is cold just like the water of fridge. Yes, means it does not allow outside heat energy inside it and inside cold energy outside. Yes. So it works like insulator. Yes. So water kept in earthen pot becomes cool. Water kept in earthen pot becomes cool after some time. After some time, because of tiny holes present in the pot, which helps the water to evaporate. And due to this, water becomes cool in short period. Yes. So because of holes, water evaporate, and because of evaporation, due to this, the water becomes cool in short period of time. Yes. Understood? Now let's move on the next point. Okay, kids. Now let's understand Fahrenheit and Celsius. Yes. Do you know how does we measure the temperature? Yes, we measure the temperature in Celsius, but we can also measure the temperature in Fahrenheit. Yes. And what is the unit of temperature? What is the unit? Kelvin. Yes. Kelvin is the unit of Fahrenheit. Sorry, Kelvin is the unit of temperature. Yes, Kelvin is the unit of temperature. So we can measure temperature in Celsius, Fahrenheit, Kelvin. Yes, we can measure temperature in Celsius, Fahrenheit, Kelvin. So as you can see, two formula of Celsius and Fahrenheit. If I ask you what is the melting point of ice? 0 degree Celsius. Yes. What is the boiling point of liquid? What is the boiling point of water? What is the boiling point of water? 100 degrees Celsius. 100 degrees Celsius. Okay. So I know the value of boiling point of water, 100 degree. Can I change 100 degrees Celsius into Fahrenheit? I know the value of melting point of water, 0 degrees Celsius. Melting point of ice, sorry. Melting point of ice. The temperature of ice is 0 degrees Celsius. Can I change 0 degrees Celsius into Fahrenheit? Yes, my dear friend, it is possible using two formula as you can see on the screen. If you want to know the value of Fahrenheit, then you have to change Celsius into Fahrenheit. If you already know the value of Celsius, then you can change Celsius into Fahrenheit using the formula. As you can see on the screen, the formula Celsius to Fahrenheit. F is equal to 9 upon 5 multiplied by C plus 32. Yes. F is equal to 9 by 5 into C plus 32. 9 by 5 C plus 32. If you want to know the value of Fahrenheit, if you want to change the value of Fahrenheit to Celsius, yes. Suppose you know the value of Fahrenheit, and you want to know the value of Celsius, then you can change Fahrenheit to Celsius just using the formula as you can see on the screen. C is equal to 5 upon 9 multiplied by F minus 32. Yes. 5 upon 9 F minus 32. That is, these are two formula. First is, if you want to calculate the value of Fahrenheit, just use 9 by 5 C plus 32. And if you want to know the value of Celsius, then just use 5 by 9 F minus 32. Okay. Now let's see one example. Okay kids, now have a look on the example. So convert 23 degree Fahrenheit to Celsius. Convert 23 degree Fahrenheit to Celsius. Convert 23 degree Fahrenheit means you have given the value of Fahrenheit. F is equal to 23. F is equal to 23. And you want to know the value of, what will be the value in degree Celsius? What will be the value in Celsius? Then you will use the formula C is equal to 5 by 9 multiplied by f minus 32. C is equal to 5 by 9 f minus 32. So as you can see, the formula of Celsius, C is equal to 5 by 9 f minus 32. Now put the value 23 in the place of f. Put the value 23 in the place of f. Then you will get 5 by 9 into 23 minus 32. 5 by 9 23 minus 32. 5 by 9 23 minus 32. Now in the next step, write 5 by 9 as usual and subtract 23 minus 32, and you will get minus 9. 23 minus 32 minus 9. Okay, then 9, you can divide 9 by 9 and you will get value 1, means minus 1. Minus is the sign already given. So in this way you will get the value of C, which will be minus 5. Which will be minus 5. Yes. So the value of converting Fahrenheit into Celsius, we get minus 5. So we can say 23 degree Fahrenheit is equal to minus 5 degree Celsius. Yes. 23 degree Fahrenheit is equal to minus 5 degrees. In this way you can get the value. Okay. So you got the answer, C is equal to minus 5 degrees Celsius. Yes. The value of Celsius is minus 5. Can you use this value to change Celsius into Fahrenheit? Can you use this value to change Celsius into Fahrenheit? Use the formula F is equal to 9 by 5 C plus 32. Use the formula F is equal to 9 by 5 C plus 32. Yes. Put the value of C is equal to minus 5, then solve it yourself. Okay. Now let's move on the next point. So kids, now you know that how to convert Celsius into Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit into Celsius. To convert Celsius into Fahrenheit, you will use the formula F is equal to 9 by 5 C plus 32. And to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, you will use the formula C is equal to 5 by 9 F minus 32. But if you want to change Celsius into Kelvin and Kelvin into Celsius, then which formula will you use? As you can see on the screen, if you want to change Celsius to Kelvin, means if you have given the value in degree Celsius and if you want to convert into Kelvin, then you will use the formula K is equal to C plus 273. K is equal to C plus 273. K is equal to C plus 273. But if you want to change the value Kelvin to Celsius, then you will use the formula C is equal to K minus 273. C is equal to K minus 273. Okay. These are the two formula. Okay. If you have given the value of Kelvin, if you already know the value of K, if you already know the value in Kelvin, then you can use the formula C is equal to K minus 273. C is equal to K minus 273. If you have given the value of Celsius, then you can use the formula K is equal to C plus 273. Okay, understood? Now let's see example. Okay kids, how to convert Celsius into Kelvin? So I have shown the example how to change Celsius into Kelvin. So to change Celsius into Kelvin, which formula we will use to change Celsius into Kelvin? Celsius into Kelvin, we will use K is equal to C plus 273. K is equal to C plus 273. K is equal to C plus 273. Yes. Means you have given the value of C. As you can see on the screen, the value of C degree Celsius is 10. Yes, the value of C is 10. So, and you want to know the value of K, means you want to convert the value into Kelvin. Then to convert into Kelvin, you will use the formula K is equal to C plus 273. As you can see on the screen, the formula is written K K is equal to C plus 273. Put the value of C. Put the value of C. What is the value of C? 10. So 10 plus 273. Put the value of C. What is the value of C? 10. So K is equal to 10 plus 273. K is equal to 10 plus 273. Now add K 10 plus 273. What will be the value? 283. Yes. 283 will be the value in Kelvin. 283 will be the value in Kelvin. Yes. So, in short, I can say if you want to know the value of Kelvin, then just add the given value in 273. If you want to know the value of Kelvin, just add the value in 273. But if you want to know the value of in Celsius, if you want to know the value in Celsius, just subtract the given value from 273. Yes. So subtract the value. Okay. Understood? Now let's move on the next point. Okay kids, now look the picture and try to recall. Look the picture and try to recall what does this picture show? What does this picture show? What does this picture represent? Yes, this picture is representing melting, means fusion, and latent heat of fusion. Yes, this picture is representing melting and latent heat of fusion. Yes, as you can see on the screen, when we put thermometer in ice, we know the melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius. When we heat this ice will change into water, but the temperature will still remain 0 degree until the all water change into liquid form. Yes. Why? Because of latent heat of fusion. Yes. What is latent heat of fusion? The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at melting point is called latent heat of fusion. And what is melting? The process of changing solid into liquid at particular temperature. The process of changing solid into liquid at particular temperature is called melting. So this picture is showing melting. Now I am going to show you one more picture and you will tell me what does this picture show. Okay. Now let's move on the next picture. Okay kids, look the picture and tell me. What is in the beaker? In the beaker is liquid. Yes, what does this picture show? Yes, it is showing boiling and latent heat of vaporization. Yes. So, if you boil the water, what is boiling? The process of changing liquid into gas at particular temperature. The process of changing liquid into gas at particular temperature is called boiling. Put a thermometer in liquid. So thermometer will show that boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. When you provide heat with the help of a Bunsen burner, so, or you can say with the help of a tripod burner. The name of this burner is tripod burner or Bunsen burner, you can say. Okay. So when you will provide heat, the temperature will not increase in thermometer. It will still remain 100 degree till all the water change into gaseous form. Yes. Till then, water temperature will remain 100 degree. Why? Because of latent heat of vaporization. Yes, because of latent heat of vaporization. So what is latent heat of vaporization? The process of changing, or you can say the amount of heat energy required. The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram liquid. The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram liquid into gaseous form. The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram liquid into gaseous form. The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram liquid into gas or into vapor at particular atmospheric temperature, at given atmospheric temperature and at a boiling point is called latent heat of vaporization. Means because of hidden heat, the temperature is not increasing. The temperature is not increasing, but liquid is changing into water vapor. This happens because of latent heat of vaporization, means hidden heat of vaporization. Okay, understood? Now let's revise something more. Okay kids, now look the properties of gas. Properties of gas. With the help of these properties of gas, can you recall the properties of solid and liquid? Property number 1, as you can see on the screen, property number 1 of gas. Gases have no definite shape and no fixed volume. Gases have no definite shape, no fixed volume. It means in case of solid, gases have definite shape and definite volume. But in case of gas, no definite shape, no definite volume. But in case of solid, have definite shape and definite volume. But now if I talk in case of liquid, no definite shape but fixed volume. No definite shape but fixed volume. Next point, the space between the particle is maximum. Yes, the space between the particle of gas, is maximum. But in case of liquid, the space between the particle is intermediate. In case of liquid, the space between the particle is intermediate. And in case of solid, the space between the particle is very small, not too much. Now once again, property of gas, next property of gas, the force of attraction between the particle is minimum. Yes, the force of attraction between the particles is minimum. But in case of solid, the force of attraction between the particle of solid is maximum. The force of attraction between the particle is maximum. In case of liquid, the force of attraction between the particle is intermediate. Yes. Next point, properties of gas. Next property of gas, the movement of particle is maximum. Particle is maximum. In case of solid, the movement of particle is minimum. And in case of liquid, the movement of particle is intermediate. Next is, they are most compressible. Yes, gases are most compressible. But solids are least compressible. Okay. And in case of liquids are compressible. More than solid, less than gas. Understood? And the rate of diffusion in gas is more than solid and liquid. Okay. Now let's move on the last point. Okay kids, it's time to revise today's topic, whatever we studied. What is evaporation? Yes, what is evaporation? The process of changing liquid into gas, the liquid into vapor. The process of changing liquid into vapor at any temperature. Yes, the process of changing liquid into vapor at any temperature below its boiling point. The process of changing liquid into vapor at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. Means particular temperature is not required. Okay. So what are the factors affect on evaporation? Explain the factors affecting on evaporation. Yes, there are total 4 factors. Factor number 1, surface area. Factor number 2, temperature. Factor number 3, humidity. Factor number 4, wind speed. So, factor number 1, surface area. When surface area increases, rate of evaporation also increases. When temperature increases, rate of evaporation also increases. When wind speed increases, rate of evaporation also increases. But when humidity increases, rate of evaporation decreases. So these are 4 factors. Next question. How does water get cool in earthen pot? Yes, how does water get cool in earthen pot? Water kept in earthen pot becomes cool. After some time. Yes, water kept in earthen pot becomes cool. After some time because of tiny holes. Present in the pot. Yes, which help to the water to evaporate. Yes, these holes help to evaporate the water, and when water evaporate, that water absorb the heat from surrounding and make it cool, and due to this the water becomes cool in short period of time. Understood? Now next question, write the formula of Celsius Fahrenheit conversion. Yes, what is the formula of Celsius Fahrenheit conversion? If you want to know the value of Fahrenheit, if you have given the value of Celsius, if you have given value in degree Celsius, and if you want to know the value in degree in Fahrenheit, then formula you will use F is equal to 9 upon 5 C plus 32. F is equal to 9 upon 5 C plus 32. But if you want to know the value in degree Celsius, if you want to know the value in degree Celsius and you have given value in Fahrenheit, then which formula will you use? C is equal to 5 by 9 F minus 32. C is equal to C is equal to 5 by 9 F minus 32. C is equal to 5 by 9 F minus 32. Okay, understood? So today we have completed chapter number 1. I hope you have enjoyed and you understood. And don't worry if you did not understand, because when we will revise it with the help of question answer, you will understand automatically. Okay? Now we will meet in next class. Till then, goodbye.